Hello, my friends. My name is Lakshmi, for those of you who don't know me. And this is your weekly infusion of awesomeness. This is all about being our best selves, be your best self, and together we are definitely creating a better world. And wow, there is so much happening right now. There's something quite powerful about this week and this weekend. One of my biggest passions is astrology, and I like to demystify astrology because I see astrology as merely ancient wisdom, and so within as without, and what's happening in the planet and the movements and the shifts is just showing us what's happening on the inside, and we just can have a better understanding of what's happening in our own lives. So this is what I really like to do, and to deliver astrological and energetical happenings in a comprehensible way. So there's kind of like disperse all the woo-woo hocus pocus stuff around what we call astrology. This video will be a little bit longer than usual because these are unusual times, all right? So I just cannot make a usual video during these unusual times. Okay, so let me just start by saying this, that this week is by far one of the most powerful weeks of our lives so far. And this weekend coming ahead of us is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful weekends that we have experienced in this lifetime. I know for me, I can speak for myself. Wednesday, September 23rd, the sun went into Libra. So the sun went into the sign of Libra, right? We've got 12 signs, and every 4 weeks or so, the sun moves into a new sign. When the sun goes into Libra, it signifies the fall equinox, and we are right at that midpoint between summer and winter. And in the North Hemisphere, this is where I am, we'll be experiencing more darkness in the next 6 months as we are approaching the winter and the winter solstice in 3 months. And it doesn't mean that darkness is just gonna experiencing dark and horrible energy. Actually, not at all. Within that darkness, we're actually inviting more light, and this time is actually inviting us to go inward and just be more introspective. So we kind of like in that point of beginning of that new chapter, and Wednesday the 23rd was a major transition day, huge turning point. The focus is shifting now into a new direction and completely away from old baggage that we just ready to leave behind. And one of the major themes right now that is happening is purification. We've got to purify our bodies, our minds, and our hearts, because there's new energy that is coming in. And in order for us to hold that energy and to let it move through us and into us, we need to purify. We are being asked right now to do that and go inward and purify and leave all that baggage behind. Huge transitions. And so the sun going into Libra is all about harmony and balance, right? Libra is the sign of the scales, and it's all about balance, and it's time for peace, harmony, and justice. And now we all want to see that in the world, right? More justice, more harmony, more peace. You need to remember that it needs to start on the inside. That process needs to start on the inside in order for us to see it manifest in the world. So it's time to take a closer look at the areas in your life where you need more balance and equality. So to achieve that harmony, we need to bring balance. Just address those areas in your life that need balance and do it immediately. There's really no more excuses. It can be like, oh, I'll just, kind of do it whenever. Immediately, like right now. And it doesn't have to be huge. It can be something very small, but it needs to happen right away. In order for us to move through these major transitions and transformations with ease and grace, we need to be balanced. Just look at those areas in your life. Where do you need more balance, more equality? Now, there's a lot of Libra energy just in general. And not only the sun, which is of course one of our major planets, which always brings up the area of relationships. And relationships, I'm not just talking partnerships and intimate relationships. That is definitely going to be magnified and kind of be right at our faces right now. Just relationships in general. So gaining more balance and harmony in our relationships. And it all starts from within, right? So it's the time to reevaluate and reconsider our priorities. Where is there imbalance in the relationship? And whatever the relationship is, it can be even with your boss or your neighbor. Is it too much about the other person? Is it too much about me? Do I feel like I'm not being heard? Do I feel that I'm not showing up in the way that I know I can show up or be better? That might bring some radical shifts and some unexpected stuff. You know, what's happening right now is there's a lot of, and this is awesome, there's a lot of shocking almost and surprise elements in the air, especially in the areas of relationships. And unexpected relationships might bloom, or just people coming into your life from just unexpected places. So just prepare for the unexpected, and this is really fun. And that goes back to that balance. When we maintain that place of balance and equality and harmony, then whatever unexpected walks into our lives, whatever unexpected events, we don't get overwhelmed. We're just there to welcome it, because the unexpected can be shitty sometimes. Yeah, so when I said unexpected, it might be that. Just be prepared for that. This is the big one. Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury in retrograde has gotten such a bad rap, like for real. For me, Mercury in retrograde is all about magic and miracles, and that just ties into this time right now where the unexpected and the shocking element is at play. Mercury in retrograde is time for magic and miracles. Yes, shit can hit the fan. Things may break down in communication and whatnot. But Mercury in retrograde is just asking us to slow down. It's asking us to even stop. And it's happening in a time where, again, all this Libra energy is at play. The sun is in Libra, and it's going to be in Libra for a few weeks. And the whole period that Mercury is in retrograde is during sun in Libra. Now, Mercury rules communication. Okay? Each planet rules a certain sign, and Mercury rules Gemini. And Gemini is all about talking to people and being social and interacting and communicating. Gemini is the communicator and kind of like the social butterfly sometimes. So it's really cool. Like everything is just being orchestrated and intertwined, all these energies, all these elements. And Mercury in retrograde in Libra is an invitation to work on our communication skills. Communication that we have with ourselves and with others. And it's working on looking at our communication skills in order to experience more harmony and peace, right? But when you can refine the way we communicate, we find more peace and harmony. Start with looking at how you communicate with yourself. First and foremost, before we going into other people, is how you communicate with yourself. What is the self-talk that is happening within your being on a regular basis? And where is there imbalance there or lack of harmony? I invite you to look into that first of all, and maybe there's some refinement that can happen with how you communicate with yourself. And then definitely look at how you communicate with others. And not only how, but what do you communicate with others and why? Now that's the big why. Why? Just look at where it's out of balance when communicate with people just because we want to be heard, or we come from an egoic place. And let's all start to communicate from our heart more. So that just means that sometimes we need to, instead of talking right away, send that email, send that text, make that phone call, just stop. Just stop and look inside. Where is that communication coming from? Mercury in retrograde is about stopping, slowing down, and just asking questions before we act. Now, planet Pluto is going direct, which is super wonderful. Pluto is a huge planet that carries a lot of energy that affects us greatly. And Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio, which is the sign of transformation and a rebirth. Scorpio is all about transformation, death, and rebirth over and over and over again. It can be a double-edged sword. If you're a Scorpio, you know what I'm talking about. Pluto going direct right now is again going forward, right? We're going forward with all this transformation, and it's all about rebirth. And this is just a huge theme playing right now. And it's really a time, again, connected to everything else with Libra, about relationships and balance, and Mercury in retrograde, and about communication. So this is a great time to clean up dark and deep residue from the past, especially when it comes to relationships. Be clear, honest, and real. Be transparent with your communication, because that might be the piece that is missing from harmony and balance in a certain relationship. And it might be something from the past. For a lot of us, it will be that, just people from the past, relationships from the past, things that just needs to be cleaned up. Because there's again, that old baggage, it just can't go with us, right? So it's a powerful time to face our fears. Being afraid of communicating or expressing something to the other person, or perhaps fearing expressing something to ourselves. It always starts with ourselves. What is it that you might be afraid to admit to yourself, or communicate to yourself, express to yourself, and then look at other people in your life and relationships? What wants to be communicated and expressed? So it's time to face all those fears. It's time to clean it all up and move forward with this transformation. It is a time for a major rebirth and massive change. Just massive change. And you can just look at your own life and apply it to whatever area. And it might be all areas. I know for me, kind of like an identity crisis in the best way possible. Just things are being questioned to the core right now. And we are being asked and invited to change and transform, and in ways that might be very new to us. So just welcome that. And now what's happening is that some of us may experiencing this in-between space, because there's death. There's definitely a lot of death that is happening, and shedding, releasing. And then there's this new space that is kind of like on the horizon. And we are in that between space, right? And it can feel shaky and scary and pretty unstable. A sense of emptiness, almost like a void. And our instinct, almost inclination, is to rush and fill that empty space. Going back to Mercury in retrograde, it's actually what we are being asked is to stop and slow down and be patient, and not do that. And not to be too analytical and logical and thinking, how can I fill that space? But really let life do her thing. And start being comfortable in that space of emptiness, because it's the law of the universe. Things cannot just be empty forever. And things are moving, like I said, rapidly. So that space will be filled, and it will be filled with things that are much better than greater than what our logical minds can comprehend and come up with. So I invite you, and maybe challenge some of you. I know it's a challenge for me. Be patient. Don't be rushed to fill that space. See if you can get comfortable in sitting in that space of emptiness and unknown, letting go of any expectations, anticipations, ideas, and the need to understand what's happening. Sometimes it's great to understand it. Sometimes it can be a limitation. We limit ourselves with the logical understandings that we put onto things. So challenging you for the next few weeks to empty yourself from all of that and just be like, this child with this completely empty mind of any ideas. This is a big transitional phase. It's a big transitional phase, and we are feeling it. It's an end of an era, it's an end of a chapter, an end of a lifetime. I really see it as finalizing a lot of things, and it's not like, oh, the journey is ending, that's it, we're done. Another journey will begin. But on some level, there's a big closure happening right now, and almost like a termination of some sort. The old paradigm, the old way of thinking, the old way of living, of being, acting, seeing ourselves and others, it's all going out the window, my friends. Just done, flushing it, done and done. We are going in a new direction. So where is it in your life, and then as just humanity and as a collective, a whole new direction. So this is something that actually happened a couple of weeks ago. Saturn, it's big, it's really big. Saturn is going into, or went into the sign of Sagittarius. It was in Scorpio for 3 years. Now, holy tamale, Saturn in Scorpio is heavy, because Saturn by itself is a big planet. It can feel very heavy. It can feel very serious, because Saturn is all about like a practical life and kind of like get your shit together. And when are you going to grow up? It doesn't really want to play that much. It's very serious. And Scorpio, bless its heart, it's all about diving into the deep waters, and it can feel very heavy, it can feel very intense. For many of us, the last 3 years have been that. It's been intense, and we were asked to dig deep into our soul and really dig all of our shit, let's just say it. Go into the darkness and go into the fears and into the shadow. And I know so many of us have experienced the dark night of the soul. Many of them, actually. A lot of you are going through it right now. And it's like birth, right? And a lot of you mamas out there, you know how it is. It's like those last few pushes, going through the birth canal. It's the last few pushes, and you feel like you're about to explode. And how can I endure it? I cannot endure it. My friends, just a little bit more pushing. We're going through that birth canal and into a whole new existence. Mark my words. Sagittarius is the visionary. That's the sign of vision, of great dreams. And Sagittarius is also, it's fire sign, so they get shit done for sure. And you've got half man, half horse, just riding into the bright future. And Sagittarius is really all about bright future, and it's envisioning, and it's taking the steps and going into and building the bright future that we envision. Now, this is really important because of other elements, and especially Mercury in retrograde, to not make major decisions right at this time. The beautiful invitation of this time is to sit with all that is in front of us and contemplate. See the visions, see where you're going, get clear, but no need to act right away. Again, just slow down, stop, be still, do your research, and do your research on the inside more than the outside. Do the research on the outside as well, if that applies to your life, but mainly it's the research on the inside. Is to keep asking ourselves, again, is the why, where am I going, what do I want to do, and let the hows come to you. Let life do her thing. A great time to contemplate. So it's starting a new chapter with more wisdom. We are heading into a new direction, but with more wisdom, right? Because we don't want history to just repeat itself, because that's just going around in circles and just spinning our wheels. To have kind of like a visual, and you can take it into your meditation, is this pulling of a bow, right? Sagittarius, it's that bow and arrow. But instead of shooting that arrow right away, just be in that place of just pulling the bow. Now we just aiming, look into the horizon, knowing exactly where you're going, knowing exactly where you want to go, knowing exactly what it is that you're leaving behind, and just aim. This is the time to aim. Aim perfectly, and don't be in a hurry to release that bow. It's okay to contemplate and use more wisdom. So for the next couple of weeks, although there's a lot of energy and a lot of forward movement, there is that balance of moving forward, but not necessarily acting right away. So even when we do this, we're still moving, because a lot of things are happening on the inside, and when it's time to release that arrow, boom, you'll know it, life will show it and be very clear with you, and you'll shoot that arrow and it will hit exactly where you want it to hit. So that is very important. And now we're getting into this big event, and wow, there's so much to say about this. This weekend, full moon on Sunday, the 27th. Full moon is happening on the 27th here, Pacific time on the West Coast at around 7:15 p.m. And to add to that, it's a full lunar eclipse, and that lunar eclipse will be visible most places here in Northern America. It's fascinating what's happening with the planets and all the energies. It's just, so mind-blowing and so beautiful. So the full moon is in Aries. Aries is a fire sign, so we've got a lot of fire and a lot of air happening. The moon is in Aries, the sun is in Libra, and the earth is going right in between. So that's what happens during a lunar eclipse, when the earth is exactly in between the moon and the sun, and the moon will disappear for about an hour and a half. So beautiful, and if you can watch it, then give yourself that gift of watching the eclipse. The earth goes right in between the sun and the moon. Balance, especially between the feminine energy, which is the moon, and the masculine energy, which is the sun. And in those moments where we are sitting right in between those two powerful energies, just go into your deepest place of meditation, find that balance and that harmony within yourself. That air and that fire energies that we have on both sides will amplify a lot of stuff. So everything is being amplified right now regardless. It's like the loudest speakers that you can ever imagine. And during the lunar eclipse, take those speakers and it's like blasting it full volume. So things will be very amplified, which means some of us will feel very emotional. Emotions will get intensified, and this week already, it's just so big and so strong and so intense. And this weekend, and especially on that day with the lunar eclipse, can feel even more so. Just more emotionals, more emotions. Things will just come up to the surface big time. And again, rapid. Know that there's just nowhere to hide anymore. We just can't hide from the truth anymore. can hide from what it is that we are feeling. We cannot hide from what it is our soul is asking us to be and do. And it's like a climax point. That's what the weekend is all about. So this week, in the last 3 years, and then the last few weeks, and then this week is such a build-up, and it's been an intense build-up to this climax. For many of us, that may mean a time for a significant turn in the road. And not a little one, a significant turn in the road. And you know where it applies in your life. And it might be something completely new. So you might have an idea, it might be very obvious to you, where it's like, oh, yes, this is where this significant turn in my life. It might be in your relationship, it might mean your job, it might mean moving to a different location. And it might not be obvious at all. All you know is, well, things need to change. I feel this new direction. I have no idea where it is. Great. Be in that place of emptiness. Be patient. It will be shown to you. On that day, Sunday, September 27th, there's a major new energy wave that is coming in. So I just want to explain this in a very comprehensible way. You guys, this is a next level upgrade, okay? These bodies that we carry, our minds, our bodies, are merely vehicles. We are vehicles for the unseen energies to move through us. Unseen, untangible, and for the collective consciousness to go to the next level. So we are all playing our part. On that day, and just this weekend, a major, massive new software is being installed, is going to be installed, all right? And it's just a software that we've never seen or experienced before, and that's why things are feeling so borderline crazy right now, because things are being reconstructed, completely destroyed, and cleaned up in order for that download to come in. We have been preparing ourselves, our bodies, our mind, our hearts, and most importantly, we've been preparing our nervous system, because in order for us to hold this massive upgrade, this massive software, we need our nervous system to be solid. And that goes back to the purification I was talking about. We need to purify, we need to clear, we need to cleanse, we need to strengthen, we need to balance, we need to be solid, so we can allow this energy to move through us. It is a massive wave of energy like we've never seen before. That is, it's like a portal. We are paving the way for a whole new era. This is the end of the world as we know it. Our internal world and our external world. This is it. This is what we've been talking about. And we are all playing our part. And this is time to trade in your old computer. This is what it's all about. This is a new program. This is a new software that is coming in. Just like your computer, this machine. When you are installing a new software, everything gets shut down, right? All the programs, everything else, you just let that download to happen. So that's what I'm asking of you. Let that download happen. You are cleaning up your computer. You're erasing all the old files. All the old files. Like, you need to have room for that software. It's big software. It's not a tiny little app. It's a big software. So clean up all the files that you don't need. Let that new software to be downloaded and upgrade your entire life and the life of this planet in the way that we've been dreaming and envisioning. All right? So that means that's just huge endings that are just happening. It's part of the process, a huge letting go of who we once were. Just death and death on the inside, that we are letting go of a lot of identities and personalities, traits and beliefs and whatever it is. Again, being empty, any ideas, any baggage. And we also see lots of death on the extra, just people leaving the planet. And I know a lot of you lately have lost a lot of people in your life, friends and family, and my heart goes to all of you that are experiencing that death of loved ones and the death that we're experiencing on the inside. And then we remember that death, right, that empty space that is created, that void. Life knows what she's doing, and then there's rebirth, and that void, that emptiness gets filled with something new. We're seeing that newness coming in, and I do want to invite you and encourage you to give yourself the time to mourn if you need to, because sadness and pain can be part of this process as we end things, as we end chapters, as we close chapters, as we say goodbye. Even if it's something that is a relief, like, oh, I'm so happy to be out of this relationship. I'm so happy to be out of this job. I'm moving. I'm so happy to release this baggage out of my life, physically, mentally, emotionally. An ending can be very happy, and at the same time to honor that chapter for what it was, to know that everything has brought you to where you are today, and to thank that and to honor that, and to give yourself the time to mourn if you need to, and to be sad and to cry and just be with yourself. Have compassion and empathy for yourself and others, acknowledging and honoring the process that we're all going through. And please support each other. This is the time right now, the utmost importance to have a support system. Find your tribe, find your community, your friends, the angels in your life where you can be supported, you can be heard and held, so you know you're not alone. Tying it all together, some of the major aspects right now and what is being cultivated, what is being recreated, a renewed sense of strength and courage. So all of you just have been so strong and so courageous. To be on this journey, to be alive at this time is no small thing and no joke. Thank you for your strength and your courage, and know that more of that is coming in. And if some of you have been experiencing this, like, God, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. And like I said earlier, that last few pushes, like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. You're in the middle of it, right? Like that baby needs to come out. You can't just be like, fuck it, you know? I'm just gonna stop pushing. So this renewed sense of strength and courage, and with that comes a renewed sense of faith. A renewed sense of faith. If you hit that point, and especially this week, I know a lot of you, I know I felt that, hitting the ground and like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. Finding a new source of faith and inspiration to move forward, because there's that moving forward right now. And with that comes this broader sense of optimism and joy. Optimism and joy. Purification is playing a huge part. Find those places in your life where you can purify more and cleanse more and move forward in your life. Let that energy flow freely from that place of purity. If I can sum it up, right? And pretty much for everything is self-value and self-love. Self-value, self-love, and to find the rhythm and the flow for you in your life in order to move forward with that sense of wisdom, ease, and grace. And when we find that flow and rhythm, we can really connect to that balanced place within ourselves and to facilitate, create, and cultivate more harmony. Prioritizing. Sit, contemplate with yourself, and prioritize the areas in your life. It's important. You value yourself and love yourself enough to put yourself on the top of the list, not from a selfish place, but know that your health and well-being is at the utmost importance, especially right now. And that will trickle down and that will affect everybody in your life and everything in your life. And inspire other people and invite other people to step into their own sense of self-value and self-love and self-care. We are coming back to ourselves and we are claiming back our magnificence. And we express that by expressing how much we love ourselves, how much we value ourselves, how much we take care of ourselves, and then take care of one another. So, powerful week. We are heading towards the weekend. Take care of yourself, my friends. Be in meditation, be in prayer. Be clear about where you're going in your life. Make room for that download to come in. I so love you. I so appreciate you. I so thank you for all the work that you do. If you want to know more about your own personal astrology, your own personal natal chart, and how it relates to what's happening on the planetary level, because we all have a soul signature and it's very much related to the planets and the energies that are affecting us on a personal level, go to my website, noalakshmi.com, and I'm starting to do readings now, natal charts and just your own soul signature. And you can also message me on Facebook in a private message, and I would love to talk to you and I would love to see how I can be of service to you. Know that we are so supported and so held, so loved at this time. Everything here right now to support us on this transformational journey. You are so awesome. Stay beautiful. I love you again and again and again. Be your best self. Be your best self. And together we are creating a better world. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'll see you on the flip side. Sat now.